The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. S&P off half a point, almost 3.1 billion shares. So volume is pretty good today. And, we basically did exactly what we thought. That is... we had an exhaustion day, and we've been basically sideways the last couple of days. And that's about all you can say about that. Exhaustion days do eat up all the energy real quickly and don't give you a whole lot left. This, of course, is the real last day of fun buying, so we'll go into Friday on lighter volume. If you are bullish, then you would like to see a pullback on lighter volume. If you're bearish, you'd think that maybe this thing goes up a few more points on light volume into the Friday close. But I digress. As I said, probably not a lot going on in the broad markets or the broad indexes. There is some interesting movements in individual stocks in some sectors, and we'll get into that today. I have to say that on a day when the S&P is flat, that if I have a couple of stocks that are up, 8 or 10%, then I am a happy camper. How about all three that are up 10% or close to it? Anyway, you can continue to email me at path@tfnn.com. You can email me, or you can call me at 877-927-6648. And, of course, post a message in the den if you would. And hopefully that Donald Trump character will not be preempting my show. I hear he's lurking about, ready to prognosticate once again. Anyway, we've got some fairly interesting moves in the market, so we're going to get into that. Of course, every day between 2 and 3 p.m., we meet.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And, of course, we do have a little bit of history to start off the show.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1776, a group of men get together and mutually pledge to each other their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor, and take a man, Silas Dean, and send him over to France on this day. He gets about enough weapons and arms and ships for about 30,000 people. He kind of found he had kind of little sticky hands, though. Never really came back till about 1786, long after the shooting was done. Died on the ship on the way back. It was very unclear with the accounting of who stole what, whether it was the French that shorted him or whether it was him that sold the stuff. They never could come up with a good answer. And I think around 1790 gave his daughter some cash and said, we're sorry, maybe we were wrong, we don't know. But, of course, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Harrison, John Dickinson, John Hay, Robert Morris, all the founding fathers, instructed Dean to meet with French foreign ministers of the military. Got one of the let's say it, the smartest French general to come on back and teach us how to fight and give us help under the guise of much what we do today, which is, that isn't ours. How did they end up with all those weapons? It's a mystery, isn't it? Anyway, they convinced that we were moving toward total separation and got the ball rolling with kicking the limeys out of our country. And of course, really getting the ball rolling for mid-1776 and July 4th. But I do digress again for the second time today. Probably the most interesting chart I've seen, and I'd heard rumors of this, and I actually saw the numbers out today, and they were shocking. This is a chart of the home price over the last few months. If you just look from the beginning of the year in the Shenzhen and Shanghai, the Shenzhen, if you're not really familiar with it, you probably hear the name. That's kind of like the old wild west of stock trading, kind of like the Amex was, or over-the-counter market. Mostly tech stocks, most of them extremely dubious book counting or accounting. Shanghai, of course, where the bigger real companies tend to hang out. But man, you've got to look at a 25% appreciation in housing in about 1 month. And what is that all about? A lot of these guys have been able to get the cash out of the stock market. And what did they do? They've gone hog wild, absolutely mad for housing. And you can't help but think that this ends once again very badly for the Chinese citizens. But as I sent a email to my friend Andy Heck, that Mao's probably kind of spinning in his grave here today, thinking about exactly how these guys are. The Chinese motto is no longer what Mao used to say, but pretty much bubbles are us. And they go from one bubble in the frying pan into another bubble that's already in the fire. But housing prices don't move up 25% in a month. I think that's all you need to say about that. But interesting nonetheless. HLF, the shares of this company, that Herbalife, that has been a short target for over a year for Bill Ackman, fell 15% in the pre-market because basically they had to say they told a big fat lie.
You're telling me a big fat lie.
What'd you say, Mr. Herbalife?
You're telling me a big fat lie.
No, you said a big fat lie, and that big fat lie had to do with their books. So errant information is a euphemism for cooking the books. Anyway, down about 15% pre-market. The hedge fund titan Bill Ackman's year-long crusade against Herbalife is heading to the silver screen, and the Tribeca Film Festival will show basically his effort behind the scenes to go and short the big company. And the film's called Betting on Zero, but will be kind of an inside look into hedge funds that we probably haven't had since the film from and about Tudor Jones, where he went out and bought up every single copy, VHS copy he could find. You can still find it, though, on the internet. He didn't like the way he was portrayed, so he literally went and bought up every copy on VHF. That was like 1986. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
As I said, it's hard to actually get almost not manic on a day where trades are going your way, the weather is perfect, and everything just seems to be, the sky's just a little bluer. I feel just a little taller and maybe just a little more handsome. And like I said, just a tough day out here. Anyway, HLF was kind of interesting to see the movement in that today. But, you know, the problem with being short, and most people will not tell you that, is that it takes a long time for the truth to actually come out in most of these companies. And generally, these guys don't go short just for the fun of it. And they generally have the goods on these companies very quickly. But this one was kind of a little different. I think he went a little too deep. He went a little too loud. And some people thought that they could shake him out of this trade, which then caused trouble with other trades. And I don't think we're probably going to be hearing him yelling from the mountaintops anymore that he's short a particular stock or that he's that deep in it. And somebody like Icon can come along and just make life rough for him. But that's it. I don't think whether you're long or short, if you yell too loud, you're probably just asking for it, aren't you? The trading gods will come and get you. They've done that to me many times with my hubris. What else do we have out here? No, that was from yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. A little bit too much self-flagellating on CNBC about Aubrey McClendon today. But I'll leave that for other folks. We broke the story here yesterday. I don't think that there's anything more to say about it than that. Let's go to the charts already early in the show. I will check my email also. I'll get up here. What do we have out here? Okay, I don't think there's a great deal more to go on. So we'll check that. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. There's some stocks that I have been looking at, and we're going to get right into those. And then we'll get into the movers, too. I wanted to see how these stocks did react today. Applied Materials, one of the biggest suppliers to the semiconductors. December 29th hit a high 1941, 17 million shares, went down to 1544. Nice little haircut out there. Energy is about the same on the way down as on the way up. And that's what I really dislike about either trading long or short. A great deal of these stocks, there's not all of them that are getting the kind of signal that you would like to see. They are either light volume at the lows, but the energy was heavy on the way down, or they're light volume at the highs now with the energy light at the high, the energy just the same. So a lot of this connotes just a continued trading range in these companies. Arrow Electronics, another big supplier, they actually supply components. In fact, I used to buy a bunch of stuff from these guys in the 90s. You'd say, hey, yeah, I need 10,000.02 UF ceramic capacitors. And they'd send you a bunch of reels of those or parts. But, it's still probably in that component business for a great deal. Doesn't do it. He wants to go microfarad. I'm still with the UF crowd out here. What else do we have? CRUS. This one was bouncing again. Now, what I disliked about this is it really is just a couple bucks away from its May 26th high of $38.20 on Cirrus Logic. But yesterday, the last few days, volume has been very light going into this December 7th, the day that will live in infamy, at $36.03, that 2.2 million shares. You spiked it on February 26, 1.2 million shares. You really haven't gotten anything in the way of a significant volume. And today, what do we got here? Come on, give us some data, baby. Give us some data. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Let's try it again. I've had problems with my data feed the last week or so. Not exactly sure why. What do we have out here? Oh. I'm getting the historical data, but not getting the data for today. Come on, data for today. Let's do it. Well, I will look it up then manually real quickly. And what do we have out here? Or we were talking about cruise, so let's go back to that real quick. Take a quick look at it. CRUS. What's this doing? It's down 20 cents, so no big deal. Volume on it is 550,000 shares. So volume's going to be probably in that 1 million share camp again today up there. Not a lot happening in it. But again, you do have, if you want to go over to the left-hand side of the chart, you do have that July 23rd spike that had 9.4 million shares, and now you're into that with 2.2 million shares. You're also into that with 1.2 million shares, and now maybe 1 million shares today. So you got to keep an eye on some of these out here. One of the stocks that I thought might be very vulnerable to the news out of China vis-a-vis the issue with tariffs on steel would be Yum. To me, it's very unclear whether or not that a lot of the problems they had with tainted food maybe wasn't helped out by the Chinese government. They are more than willing to put the screws to people. They're probably more like the mob than just about anything else. But this thing's back into that huge gap down that happened on volume. That happened on, what is that, October 7th. Was down on 30, let's call it 36.8 million shares. What is it, YUM? And on that day, you're up 17 cents today. So again, you're right up to confluence. And I really dislike when you can't break these levels. You come up here and you hit them for 2 or 3 days. But the other part of it is most of the growth they're talking from and talking about does come from China. So keep on looking at Yum as a handful of companies that continue to have probably a lot more exposure to China. And at the beginning of the show, we talked about their housing prices. And in fact, I didn't even get to the problem with China, with Moody's actually downgrading their bonds today, too. I don't know how many people caught that. That was kind of slipped under the radar for most people today. So there's still some issues out there, and I kind of think that there's going to be some kind of retribution for the U.S. tariffs. There always is. There's a tit for tat for everything with China. They know how to negotiate. But talk about a great setup here. If you're wanting to look at a good example of how Confluence sets up, look at the Yum Brands and start off with that high back on May 20th. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Put a message in the den.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped, and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. As we talked, if you really want to see a good setup for a confluence level, this is pretty much everything you want. Now, again, as I said, a lot of these charts are very tough, but this one is probably a little bit more on the scale of shorting. I would like to see the energy off the February low of 11th low out here up to this high that we saw on March 1st. Come in with a little less energy off there. A power law vector indicator shows 3.6, and it came down on 4.1. I would like to have seen that thing be less than 3 out here. But when I'm starting to look at some of these stocks that could have a lot of exposure to a angry and not benevolent Chinese Chi-Com government, I want to start thinking about the ones that they've hammered already. And of course, Yum is one of them. Qualcomm is one of the other ones, although Qualcomm says that they've pretty much settled all their beefs with China, is another great one and a great setup for Confluence. Confluence comes in on this one at 54.41 to 53.96 or 95. This thing's about a buck underneath it, so it really just needs to get to kind of the December 2nd high that had 36 million shares. We hit yesterday's high with just 15 million shares. I kind of like this one again. Energy off the low was a little bit better than I would have liked to jump on it. But you have to start looking at some of these companies out here, depending on what China does. Maybe they do nothing. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't pulled the trigger on any of these, by the way. But these are setting up fairly interestingly. And again, another great one if you want to look at how to set up. Let's start with the March 10th high of last year. Use the second number off the October 23rd high at 61.19, and you see that you're basically already, the first bounce on December 2nd got up to 53.44, so just a quarter underneath the Confluence level. And now you're right back up to that level with even longer volume. So to me, that is kind of interesting. If it pulls back and breaks below 49.16 and 49.48, there's a secondary Confluence level on the way back down. And that would tell you that you probably have a big ABC to the way down setting up right there and then. You're not going to have to wait for this thing probably to come back to $42.24. It's either going to stop at that $49 level and bounce or blow through it. If it blows through it, you're probably right back down to the $42.24 level. I do not like the way that Qualcomm has set up its business. Basically, they sold their soul in China to get business, and eventually China will steal all their intellectual property and leave them a husk of their previous self. So I'm not a big fan of that. Of course, the casinos would be yet another place to come out and attack these companies. Wynn Resorts, this is the right Wynn, isn't it? Profile. Let me make sure here. Wynn, is that the Wynn Resorts, Wynn Casinos? Is that another Wynn? And now, of course, everything has to crawl to a stop. Come on, give. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Must be a issue with the internet around the country. Let me try it one more time out here. Oh, that's it. Okay. Someone said in the den there. Oh, there we go. Wynn Resorts, yeah. Develops, operates casinos. Sometimes I look at the ticker and I think, well, I know that there's the other Wynn, but that Wynn's not that Wynn. It's like Cisco and Cisco. You think that one of those companies would have to change its name. One delivers food, one makes routers, and of course, people invariably get those mixed up too. Anyway, Wynn Resorts is back up to its gap down. That gap only had about 3.8 million shares, but today we are into that with 2.8 million shares. So not a riving huge push. Of course, you had a lot of money come into the stock on earnings. Everybody basically, it was all unicorns and rainbows. So you had a couple big days with energy, a couple of sideways days out here on more energy. Today, very light as it continues back up. To me, it really looks like you're going to get pretty much into an area that is fairly decent problems. Now, again, a nice setup out here that tells you that you're probably, at least for the first move off the bottom, gotten just about everything that you wanted and could have gotten. You basically have a confluence level that goes to $92.15, starts at 89.30 or 88.30, excuse me. So you're pretty much right there. You'd have to look at how this does in the next few days. Again, energy was pretty good off the bottom. I'm not going to say that this would be a stock that looks weak now, but could have political ramifications if the Chinese decide to come back after them like they have in the past. All of those companies, one after the other, has found itself tied to the whipping post when China has been less than enthused with us making, and us, I mean the USA-based international companies, making any money in their pond. So just some thoughts out there. Other stocks of interest, wanted to see how they were doing. Take-Two up here at highs. Lighter volume, spiked to $37 on November 6th with 4.3 million shares, got to $37.71 on March 1st. It's pulled back and down today, but fairly light volume. Again, this is not one I'm going to pull the trigger short on, mostly because, of course, the energy was about the same on the way down as the way up. I want to find stocks that had very light energy on the way up if I'm going to short them in this, because this is much more of a trading range, and normally stocks that have the same energy on the way up, on the way down, the tie goes to the runner, and the runner is generally higher in the marketplace, both in up and down bull and bear markets. You really want to see a sign of weaknesses. Anyway, we're going to get to movers out here today. Let me clean a few of these things up, check a few of my stocks just to make sure things are still going my way. If I come back crying, I think you'll know. What do we have out here? BIOS, PTE, Baytex. A lot of these are just movers. Sienna is the one that gets the losing horn today. Yes, no joy in Mudville today. It's off 17% as we speak. Let me clean this up so you can see a little bit better and zoom back in. Heavy volume blowing through its previous low January 20th, 3.7 million shares. We already have 19 million shares today. So what does that open up? That opens up the $13.77 low from October 15th, 2014, folks. And of course, a lot of the suppliers around Sienna also having a bad hair day also. We'll talk more about this when we come back. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Call me at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. Anyway, we were looking at Sienna out here. I don't know if there's a whole lot to say other than, this sector probably looking pretty bad these days. And you've got a nice ABC to the way down. If this thing does not stop at the 1377. So not looking pretty out here. I see Mr. Trump is still speaking. What else do we have? You should know better than when I'm on the air to be out here speaking. But I guess I'll have to just call him later and let him know. Maybe he didn't know I was on. What else do we have going on here? Oh, looking at some other stocks. Costco, COST. Down a little bit today. I didn't read the news on it. Energy volume did pick up a little bit. Looks to me like this is in a trading range pretty much between the 141.62 and the 154.88. I don't see anything that's going to change it. Of course, people kind of stepping in, but on a down day, or on a day actually sideways. Stock's not sideways. It is a little bit lower, but these stocks continue to kind of trend lower. WMT, Walmart is certainly up off the floor, but I kind of dislike it also. This thing hit and had a beautiful signal. The October 14th high at 67.95 had 80 million shares. You got into that on February 4th with 14 million shares. You got into it again on February 26th with 10 million shares. Pretty much telling you everything in the world out here that there is not a lot of volume past that $67 mark to go out there and blow out some highs. Probably the best thing is the volume has been light and variable on this pullback and even into today. But none of these big retailers look to me like they have much energy and probably won't have till next fall at the earliest. It's hard for me to see a scenario where they do come on. Let's find some other stocks out here. Joy Global was going to be one that I thought might tell us a little bit more about what's happening, at least in the commodity sectors. Of course, we've seen Caterpillar kind of do some interesting stuff. Earnings on Joy Global have popped it to 16.18 today. You did have decent energy compared to recent days in trading. You got up to the last gap that this thing had, or a recent gap, on the 12th of November. Just a little under 5 million shares. You had 8 million shares, but it's back into this heavy volume day, down day that actually came on December 1st. That had 17.5 million shares. As I said, about 8 million shares. So you're into that gap. You filled it. Things are probably a little bit better, but still problematic. So if you go out and look at Caterpillar, of course, it kind of ran on that. It had a fairly interesting setup for a Confluence level 2. So what you should have seen is it bust today with a volume. What is the wrapper? Bust a move? I forget who did that one. I'm trying to forget who did that one. Let me put it that way. It's still like an earworm stuck in my head. But what you don't have in Caterpillar today is a lot of screaming fans like the Donald has right now, yelling and screaming in volume, because what you have is the 23rd high in Caterpillar that had 7.5 million shares, $70.49. Beating that today with just 4.2 million shares so far. So let's figure what? We got 15 hour and 15 minutes left, 4.2 million shares. Maybe this thing gets to 5.7 million shares as a guesstimate. You need to hold $70.49 in the next couple of days. Again, like I said, a lot of these stocks, I wouldn't probably be pulling the trigger short. They're light on volume as we come back up to the highs. The energy off the lows, though, not as you would think. The last move down from that December 23rd high pretty much had the same energy on the way back up to this high today. And other than the light volume today, a lot of people would buy these things all the way back up to the previous highs. But again, as we've seen so much, no one wants to buy the breakout. And that continues to be an issue. Let me see what else I have in my list of stuff that's busting a move today. SSYS on a little bit of a bank shot on earnings. Did gap up, does have a little bit of energy. You get a light volume pullback, and maybe some of these things might be interesting. Would I buy this probably on a 50% retracement? I don't think so. Would I buy it on a retracement all the way to that 1448 low on light volume? Maybe. But there's probably more than about a 75% chance that we do get a pullback to that $14.48 low, or pretty close to it. And this is kind of your first sign of strength off the bottom. You want to get that pullback. Ideally, you want to get it back to that low, have nobody interested in it anymore. Have it base out for a few weeks, maybe a month, and then actually jump on top of it. So it's going to take a lot of patience, I suspect, for a lot of those. One of the ultra stinky IPOs where someone asked me the day that it came out if there was anything to it, and I said, nay, did I say. Now I want to do a cat in the hat thing. Yes, the cat had the hat. Anyway, Skull Candy. If you're unfamiliar with this company, they make kind of earbuds, and everybody thought that if they put skulls on them, people would just line up. This thing kind of bounced back up, got to 1183, but it's done nothing but go down and continue to make ABC downs. Not a lot of movement on this one other than on a percentage basis. Of course, too low to short, and pretty much always was too cheap to short. I don't see a whole lot in this thing other than bankruptcy, death, destructions, dogs living with cats, real wrath of God stuff.
What he means is Old Testament, real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Well, probably not that bad, but Skull Candy probably does not have a big future. You do have a 3-gap play down here. A lot of people thought that Beats, this was going to, at least the way that this IPO was sold, was that this was going to be like Beats, but they didn't have any big name rappers putting their name on ultra cheap and crappy headphones, which Beats had. Probably the only thing Beats did that was smart is sell out before how bad their headphones were and how bad their business and their music business was before all the proverbial excrement hit the fan. You've got a 3-gap play here. I tell you what, it is very hard for me to see any scenario where this company regains its strength. Maybe someone buys them out and puts a big face on them. It seems like probably not a lot to do with the product. It almost has to do with if you've got a big wrapper on board for these things. They never did. I don't think they will. And they don't have the cash probably to buy them. So I'll say I knew thy well. Skull Candy. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're going to go to some of the other movers today. Not looking that well. Embraer is a big manufacturer of airplanes. If you've ever been on the puddle jumpers, you know them. They make a lot of the small prop planes that go to the smaller airports. I used to fly on them a great deal. When you hear about an accident, it's probably these planes for the most part. If it's a commuter airplane, they're now getting into jet airplanes, probably going to solve a lot of the problems without those props on them. But they're always those planes with the high wings and the turbo props, 2 turbo props that hold 25, maybe 35 people at the most. Anyway, bad news has come for them. And what do I say? What am I got going on here? Oh. I had something in front of something else. They're off 11, almost 12% today. Energy to the downside on this one. And you got to think that if Airbus and Boeing aren't doing all that hot, going to be kind of hard for one of these smaller manufacturers to continue doing well. Of course, they came out with news. Let me look that up just a second. Let's see what they had to say. Net quarter profit gains. Guiding down. Okay. Modest profit outlook. We're not going to make money. I guess a way to interpret it. Anyway, heavy volume down today, 1.7 million shares. Previous low just had 730,000 shares. So probably a good, or you could probably make a decent case that you've blown through the day of the 28th of January that had 1.2 million shares. You already have 1.7. That opens up the previous low, but that didn't have much volume. The next big day that you're going to have with volume down takes you to $23.92, which was the September 24th low with 1.6 million shares. But my guess would be that August 24th low that did not get tested yet in this stock, and the company headed back to that August 24th low, $23.15, 2.4 million shares. So, as my friend Tim Ord said, a low is not a low until it's been retested by a lighter volume, or a high volume low is not a low until it's been tested by a lighter volume, and this is a high volume low back on that August 24th. So many of these stocks will, in the next 6 months, they're going to come back and test those August 24th lows for the most part. And you just have to know when and where. If they test it with lighter volume, come back with lighter volume, then maybe you've got something there to actually write home about. Valoco Energy, ERG, where's that one? Up 14% on the winners side. A lot of these stocks don't have to move very far out here. As I was talking to Andy Heck, I said some of these things are lower than whale poop, and of course you don't get any lower than that. This thing didn't look bad out here going into earnings, almost no volume, but the problem is that you don't have any volume to the upside either today. You do have some price movement. Now, not all the time do you get instant price movement off the lows, especially for these penny stocks. But you probably want to watch this sector maybe over the next few days and start seeing if maybe some of these penny stocks in the energy sector do come off the low, and whether or not normally you want to see within a couple of days that volume actually is picking up in some of these down here. If you're a catfish fisherman out there doing some dredging at the very bottom of the market, look for a couple of these. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.